song called Twerking to Chopin. Twerking to Chopin. When I listen to music, I dance. Even when I'm sitting, I can feel myself moving, and I never can figure out why is it I can sit even in a seat and the movements just come. When I listen to classical music, I dance ballet in my head. I feel every bone, muscle articulating, moving, shifting. And I now figured out why. When a ballet teacher teaches you or choreographs a movement, they may stand there for a moment, do this, and that, what they've just explained, is an entire piece. You as a dancer are standing there watching this explanation, and you're expected to this, grand jeté here, pas de bras there, and you see, and these articulates of movement because you watch the teachers, you watch now your mentors, and you see as they're explaining, you watch their every move from the tip of their toe. In ballet, we call it articulation. In dance in general, we call it articulation. And it's a funny word to cross over between the different arts, what it means to articulate. I once had a very big teacher. She was big as a house. Actually, twice. I'll tell you about the first one later. But I once had a very big dance teacher, as big as a house. Her name was, I'm not going to say her name because then she'll be insulted. That's it. She was as big as a house. But she would do that. She would teach us the moves, say, do da 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 da, and then we go out and line up and do it. And when we wouldn't get it, she would have to get herself on the floor and articulate every muscle. How do you do? How do you move? How do you? And it's amazing to see that just music can put all of this. You can have this space around you where music envelops you, where you have this cocoon of music that seeps through every muscle and you articulate. Now, twerking to Chopin. I said when I listen to classical music, now I listen to all kinds of music. And when I listen to hip hop, I dance hip hop. When I listen to funk, I funk. When I listen to disco, when I listen to different kinds of music, you explore different kinds of dance. But my training in ballet says that when I listen to classical music, I dance ballet. Here's the thing. Why not twerk to Chopin? I was just listening to Chopin, and he has some very, very murky beginnings, but his mids and endings, he knows how to finish off a song. That sounds like a good twerk. Call the dancers to the floor. We may be onto something, because that was the popular music at that time. Twerking to Chopin. Did they want the buttocks moving back and forth rigorously, shaking, gyrating, moving, articulated, isolation, boom, 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 as he strokes those keys, and he loves those deeper tones. Twerking really comes from this. It comes from the will to move, to be free, and for all of these different art forms to speak to one another. Now, you don't have to be a dancer to experience this, to let music take you over, to let music take you to that special place where my dance teacher, who's as big as a house, whose heart was a home, she taught us that every moment we could live and breathe through art, that art brought life to its many colors. Now, my first dance teacher, who was as big as a house, ballet teacher, she could just point her toes. All this that I'm doing with her hands, she could just point her toes, da-da-da-da. And my mother was sitting there in the class, and she said, what's going on? Is this a ballet teacher as big as a house? Am I paying for this? Am I bringing you here, spending my time and my gas money to have someone that you're supposed to aspire to be like, to be as big as a house? And I said, Mama, her articulating her toes is us doing this with our legs. Her doing like this is us doing this with our spines. And so on and so forth. And being immersed in the arts, being immersed in what De Bono calls lateral thinking, as a way of not just doing, but being, because to be an artist, you have to be in the art, and different dancers and different artists will find their own means of being in the moment. And that's, after all, what art is about, is a specifically captured moment. So now you go twerk in the mirror to Chopin.